The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and good morning to all that are in attendance right now. It looks like we've got just under 100 people on the call today, and we're here to talk about association plans. Welcome to the Benefits Trust, and welcome to our webinar today. And I'm predicting that association plans are the new growth opportunity in the employee benefits world. So we want to take this opportunity to welcome you to 2020 and welcome you to our webinar series. And this is our first webinar series, our first webinar really in 2020, other than a sales webinar we did a couple of weeks ago, just early in the year. But this is part of our regular webinar series, so welcome. First one is on association plans, and as I mentioned, this is the new growth opportunity in the employee benefits world. So we're pretty excited about today and excited about this presentation. We did this one late last year as well in 2019, and we had a lot of great response from it. And actually, last week we had just to let everybody know, we had a meeting with a broker that had a new prospect in this particular area that came out of this, and he's opened up an enormous opportunity for himself that he's really excited about. And the association is also very excited about. So this works, and this works extraordinarily well. And what? Growth association plans? Really? Are you serious? This is something that has started. We've started this the last couple of years with a couple of very key people, and it's worked and worked extraordinarily well. And now we want to sort of take it out to a wider group. That's why you're here, and we want to help you sell more employee benefits. That's really what it's all about today. So before we get into this, I thought insurance companies hate association plans. And the fact of the matter is a lot of insurance companies do hate association plans, and they've really shied away from them. And I know this was in vogue when I started about 30 years ago in this business, and lots of people were working with associations, and insurance companies thought it was a good idea. And now you go to them with an idea of an association plan, and they just sort of shy away and move away and really not that interested. So insurance companies are not really, your traditional insurance company are not really that interested in association plans. So when you think about that, you are absolutely correct, sir. As you, sir, are correct. As our friend Alex Trebek says, you, sir, are correct. They are not that interested. So when you have a prospect, it's kind of interesting because the prospect, the association, wants to offer a plan to their members, but no one's willing to do it. Well, guess what? We think we've cracked a formula that makes a great deal of sense, and that's what we want to talk about today. So welcome to the Benefits Trust. We are a full-service third-party benefit administration company. We are in our 26th year of being in business right now. We started January 1st, 1994, and as I mentioned, we are a full-service third-party benefit administration company. At the end of the presentation today, you're going to be receiving a very short survey, and the survey is going to say, hey, great, how did we do today, and how can we do better tomorrow? And we'd appreciate your feedback on that because we always want to improve. We've got to, as well as that, you are going to receive a CE credit. I apologize, guys. I apologize profusely. We're a little bit behind on our CE credits, but we're working with one of our technology advisors to automate this process. And, believe it or not, when you work with technology people, they don't under promise and over deliver. They over promise and under deliver, but we're working and we should have a response we should have a solution very soon. I think we're just actually beta testing it right now. So we're going to be getting rid of this backlog of CE credits we owe you, but I promise you, you will get your CE credits. Anyways, so at the end of the presentation today, you're going to get a survey. You're going to get a CE credit at some point very shortly. And in addition to that, you're going to be signed up for our Trusted Advisor newsletter. I'm going to be your presenter today. My name is Rob Crowder. I'm the guy on the right-hand side. I always like to put a face to the voice, if you would. And Mike Ignatz is our moderator. He's going to be saying hello throughout the presentation as well.
Good morning, everybody.
If you have any questions throughout the presentation, type them in the question box, and we'll either answer them with the time we have remaining in the presentation, or Mike will answer them certainly offline. But feel free to give us a call or send us an email at any time, and we'd love to work with you. So if we're working with you, thank you very much for your continued business. And if we're not working with you, we'd love to talk to you about different ideas. So what we do at the Benefits Trust is we help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. It's as simple as that. We work with successful business. We work with brokers. First of all, we don't sell direct. We work with brokers like yourself, and we help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. We've been doing this for, as I mentioned, 26 years and quite a few thousand clients now, and it's pretty exciting. And our process is very simple. We provide budgeted ASO services, and we're talking about associations, really? Yeah, we're going to get to that. But we provide budgeted ASO services where clients give us money on a monthly basis based on a billing statement we give them. We go out to the insurance companies that we deal with, and more than 20 different insurance companies and service providers. We buy life, AD&D, LTD, stop loss out of country, critical illness, etc. We buy all of those things. Then we also pay claim transactions, and we provide administration services for that. And then we send you and we send the end user client an account balance. It's a very simple process, but there's an awful lot of moving parts, and it works extraordinarily well. And as I like to say, we haven't made mistakes over the last 26 years. We've just had some expensive learning opportunities. That's what I like to say. Anyways, We've done a number of different things, but really the key thing is we help successful business owners build a better benefit plan than they can get anywhere else. And it's interesting when you think about building something, you look at something and it's really a customized approach, and that's the approach that we take with respect to benefit plans and certainly association plans is helping build something that's better than they can get anywhere else. It's as simple as that. One of the ways that we've done this is through our Select Flex benefit offering. If you're not familiar with that, check out thebenefitstrust.com. Check on Select Flex. It's a very unique program. We've also got the Smart Business Owners Benefit Plan, another unique opportunity for very small businesses. In addition to that, we deal with hybrid plans. I can't talk today, Mike, for some reason. And no, I haven't been drinking. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I need some drinks. Anyways, we deal with hybrid plans, healthcare spending accounts, traditional plans. Choose your spot on the line. We deal with all sorts of different gamuts of plan designs. We're not just a healthcare spending account provider. We are a full service third party benefit administration company, and we deal with companies of all sizes from, as I like to say, from 1 to 1,001. Our target market is really at that smaller end of the marketplace from 1 to 101 employees. And again, we work with brokers like yourself right across the map. We are in business. We are open for business. We are excited about 2000 or the year 2020. And we're excited about the next 26 years in business, and we want to work with you. It's as simple as that. We deal with thousands of clients, and as I like to say, we have benchmark setting service levels. I think there's been 3 times or 4 times in the last 26 years when we've lost clients because of client service related issues. And quite frankly, it's not so much client service related issues, it's more communication issues. In other words, we just have difficulty dealing with a particular client. But that's 4 in 26 years. I think that's a pretty good record. We deal with thousands upon thousands of clients and thousands upon or tens of thousands of members. So this is something that we're good at. So our agenda today, that's our commercial. First 10 minutes, there we go. There's our commercial. The next 50 minutes, we're going to talk about what is an association, or how we're looking at what an association is. Why did association plans traditionally fail? How does a plan work well? We want to talk about what makes a great prospect. What is our approach here at the Benefits Trust to association plans? And we also want to talk about what the next steps are. We want to show you some examples as well. So I went online when I was putting this presentation together, and associations is defined as a group of people organized for a joint purpose. A group of people organized for a joint purpose. And I found this online, so it's got to be true, right, Mike? If you find it on the internet, it's got to be true. But anyways, as we all know, we're all smart enough that, this makes a great deal of sense. It's a group of people organized for a joint purpose. So let's go with this for the purpose of today's discussion. It's a group of businesses joined or organized for a joint purpose. It's a group of businesses organized for a joint purpose. But the joint purpose cannot be just to buy group insurance. There has to be another sort of thread, if you would, other than buying group insurance. So it can't be just all of, Bob Smith Insurance Agencies, Inc. clients. That's not an association. There's got to be another thread of groups or businesses joined together with a common purpose, if you would. Other than buying group insurance. So an example of this, for example, could be the Mechanical Contractors Association of Canada. All the mechanical contractors in Canada, have gotten together, joined this association. That's a common thread. The cannabis growers, a newer legal organization of businesses could be, for example, the Cannabis Growers of Canada. They're unique in the agricultural world because they've got very different rules and regulations associated with them than, for example, a corn farmer or the Corn Farmers Association of Canada. So the Cannabis Growers Association of Canada is another example. Another example is one that can be created, for example. Here's the St. Lawrence Market. If you've never been to the St. Lawrence Market in Toronto, I would suggest you go. It's now going to be open Sundays. I think that starts sometime this year. But the St. Lawrence Market, there's a lot of independent businesses. They might have locations in other parts of Toronto or Ontario for that matter, but they're all together here at the St. Lawrence Market. So, I'm sure there's an association of the St. Lawrence Market Business Owners Association, or the groups that are associated with the St. Lawrence Market. It may not be for the purposes of they may not have an insurance offering, but certainly one can be put together for all of those different companies. So it's about you being creative, and the idea of this is to show you different examples. And about you being creative. There doesn't have to be a formal association. You can create an association of companies. It's entirely up to you and your creativity. So, why have conventional association plans failed? Again, this was really popular some 30 years ago, and insurance companies have really shied away from it. So, why have conventional association plans failed? Well, in thinking about it, I was, when putting this presentation together, I think it was the way they are underwritten, or the way they were underwritten, because a lot of them have gone by the wayside. There's still a few out there, but the way they're underwritten, the way that they were designed, I think, is flawed as well, and the way they are sold, I think, is flawed. So let's talk about those three different components. This is why, again, the traditional plan association plan has failed. The way they are underwritten. Well, traditional association plans are or were underwritten generally as one group. So you might have a few hundred employers, and a number of those employers are members of the association plan, but it's generally underwritten as one group. So a bunch of association members join the plan at a set rate. They go, great, here are what the rates are going to be. They're going to be, X number of dollars for life insurance and Y number of dollars for AD&D, and so much for single and family, for health and dental, and so on. And here's the set rate. And then renewals are based on the plan experience as a whole. So the individual company, is their rates are based on not just their own individual experience, but the rates as a whole. Employer members with good experience subsidize the cost of those with bad experience. This works well in the first year or two or three, but then over time, does it really work? And that's what's happened. So because the employer never really knows how they're doing in relation to the whole group, all I know is they just get a renewal, might even be just in the mail, that says, hey, their rates changed and they're part of the Home Builders Association of Mississauga, or whatever the association is, and they don't get a lot of information. So it becomes a value proposition. Are they getting good value? And no one really knows that, right? Because there's very little information provided. The other thing is, back to that point, they don't know if they're getting value or not, which creates, I think, a bit of a void. Because one thing that I've learned over the last 30 years of being in business and selling insurance to entrepreneurial organizations, or employee benefits to entrepreneurial organizations, is entrepreneurs truly like to buy value. So when there's little or no information given, and it's just given in a blanket sort of format because of the way it's underwritten, it really questions. Oh, we got something going on here, Mike. My little advancer is no longer advancing. There we go. There we go. We're back on track. So people like to buy value, and they're not buying value, so it creates a little bit of a void. Anyways, another way that the reason why traditional plans have failed is the way they are designed. Traditional plans fail often because of the way they are designed. It's kind of a boring standard offering. It's very standard. It's very general. It's very vanilla ice cream. It's boring. And that was fine 20 years ago. That was fine 30 years ago, because benefits weren't that exciting. They're getting more and more exciting today. And why are they getting more exciting? Because the cost of them is increasing. They used to be a throw-in no one cared about because it wasn't really a significant component of compensation, where now it's a very significant form of compensation. Benefits are, that is. And if an employer is spending a great deal of money on benefits, they want to make sure they're getting value for their money, and they want to make sure they're motivating their employees and helping their employees stay with their organization. So these boring standard offerings were generally pretty or not well valued, if you would. There was very limited or no flexibility in general, and it didn't work well for a lot of companies over time. It was more or less that take it or leave it approach. Yeah, here's what our benefit plan is. You might have just one, here's a level for managers and here's a level for employees, but it's sort of take it or leave it. Here's the price. Here's the plan design. Are you in or out? Have a great day. And then the third the reason why association plans traditionally haven't worked is the way they're sold. Well, it's more reactive, wait for the phone to ring kind of selling than proactive. You set up this association with let's just call it the Mississauga Home Builders Association, and you put it out there and you wait for the phone to ring. You might have a link, on their association website that says, "Hey, great! Click here to find out more about our association plan benefits." And there might be an opportunity to participate in an association trade show. But what happens is over time, the broker that's involved maybe not participate as often as they should because it costs money, and it might be $1,500 to join the trade show or $3,000 to join the trade show or whatever the component is. And the broker's going, well, I don't have a proper booth to set up, so it's not going to be good. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, or I'm out of town. And so they don't take advantage of those trade shows because they're not getting the results from those trade shows. There may be a couple of bumps in newsletters, but all of a sudden the association saying, hey, Mr. Broker or Mrs. Broker, you can write a letter or write an article in our newsletter, and we can put it out to all of our members. But the broker saying, hey, I'm not a writer and I ran out of content and I've done a couple and I haven't had a lot of response. So, hey, you know what? This is no good. All right. So then it's just a click on the website, and if a lead or a prospect comes in once or twice a year, then that's great. But it's really not that exciting. It's more of that reactive type approach. So it's often forgot about. The association has put these plans in place. They're often forgotten about, and there's not a lot of value associated with them, and they often fail. It's as simple as that. So it's the way they're underwritten, the way they're designed, and the way they're sold. So let's not talk about what's happened in the past. Let's talk about what's going to happen in the future. How does a plan work well? How does a plan work well? How does an association plan work well? And why is this a big growth opportunity in the benefits world? Well, I think it's the way it's underwritten, the way the plan is designed, and the way the plan is sold. It's as simple as that. We use the same methodology, if you would, but we're going to underwrite it a little differently. We're going to design it a lot differently, and we're going to sell it considerably differently. So, I think these three components of the plan, the overall association plan, work, and we've got some proven success there as well. So the way the plan is underwritten. Simple as that. Well, we underwrite the pooled benefits as a group. And we utilize, because of our ability as an administrator, we utilize specialty carriers where we can, unique contract provisions, potentially higher non-evidence maximum. So if you've got a group of companies together where there might be smaller employers, with 4 or 5 or 6 employees in each group, and you got a couple hundred of those groups, all of a sudden the amount of insurance that they might be able to purchase as a standalone group might only be $25,000 of the life insurance. But if we can link them all together as a large group, we might be getting $100 or $150 or $250,000 of any non-evidence maximums, and for example, just plain life insurance. Specialty carriers can offer some unique contract provisions that can't be duplicated just by buying benefits for a 2-person group or a 5-person group or a 10-person group. So pooled benefits are underwritten as a group, and again, we can get some unique and often some unique and provisions from specialty carriers, excuse me, and potential higher NEMs. Experience-rated benefits, for example, the health and dental and potentially short-term disability, can be underwritten by either the individual group that are participating or partially shared. So for example, some associations that we work with say, hey, great, what we want to do is we want to have these unique pool benefits, but we also want to have the drug plan. We want to offer everybody a standard drug plan, and then the other ancillary health benefits and the other dental benefits can be underwritten by each individual group. So it really depends on the association and where it's going, but really the experience rated benefits are either grouped together to a certain extent or individually underwritten. The other component is, and that really ties into the underwriting, ties into the way the plan is designed, because we can design the plan according to the association sort of commonalities, if you would, and why it, and how it makes sense. So the way the plan is designed, and as I was mentioning, unique offerings of insurance and sorry, unique offerings of pooled benefits and insurance benefits designed specifically for the association. So what do I mean by this? So for example, roofers. Insurance companies hate roofing companies, as an underwriting category, if you would. They hate roofers. They hate roofers. They think it's terrible. But all of a sudden, if you link 500 roofers together or 600 roofers together or 1,000 roofers together, and it's easy to go to a specialty carrier and get $250,000 of accidental death and dismemberment insurance for those roofers. If you got a 6-person roofing company, where they're 50% of their staff turns over, once a year, nobody's going to be that interested in them. But if you've got 600 roofers, we can easily get $250,000 worth of AD&D coverage. It might be more than 5 cents per thousand, but because of the risk, but we can certainly get it. Long-term disability insurance for pilots. For example, pilots have to take an annual medical. We can set up a plan where the long-term disability kicks in if a pilot fails a medical. So they automatically qualify for long-term disability insurance if they can't do their job because they've failed that medical. So the trigger for the long-term disability is if they fail that medical, boom, they may not be considered disabled in a traditional contract, but for a pilot contract, they're considered long-term disability. We can set up a plan, for example, that's got no drug coverage for pharmacists or only catastrophic drug coverage for pharmacists. Excuse me, on-demand or online healthcare for remote miners, for example, or remote employees. And this is something that was very exciting for this association meeting that I was at this past week. We were talking about this exact thing, the on-demand telehealth. Online telehealth. It was amazing because the association didn't realize that this was available because a lot of their employees, or a lot of their members, pardon me, work remotely, and this is something that got them really excited. Another one was healthcare spending accounts for returning seasonal workers. Seasonal workers, it's interesting. I do a lot of work in the ski industry here in Ontario, and I've been involved my entire life. And we've got a number of ski resorts as clients. And returning workers is something that a lot of companies are dealing with. A lot of, for example, ski companies or resorts or whatever it is they're dealing with, and they want to be able to offer their returning employees a little something to entice them to stay and stay for the entire season. So you can do all sorts of different types of things. And these are just a very few examples, but creativity is your friend, not your enemy here. So let's understand what the association is, and let's put some unique provisions in that get them excited about buying benefits. Right? The third component is the way the plan is sold. It's as simple as that, the way the plan is sold. Well, I think it's important to have complete buy-in from the partners, and the partners are a number of things. The partners are the association's board of directors. And if there isn't a formal association, like I was talking about earlier in this session, it's having a couple of key employers, sort of not necessarily heading up the association, but a couple of key employers, the strip mall anchors, if you would, those guys buying in. The advisor or advisors need to buy in. The TPA, if the TPA is involved, needs to be all over it. The insurers partners need to be all over it as well. They need buy-in so there aren't any surprises. So it's one of those things where you get buy-in from all of the parties that are involved, and it just creates that opportunity for success. So the advisor's mindset is absolutely critical, and I think the experiences that we've had over the last couple of years in this space is and where we've quite frankly had some expensive learning. I don't like to say mistakes, but expensive learning is the advisor's mindset. The advisor might have this great idea and this great prospect, but if they're not interested in selling, then it doesn't work. And I don't know if anybody's seen the movie The Founder. And there was a great scene in the movie The Founder, and The Founder is about the story of Ray Kroc. And what's this guy's name again, Mike? Michael Keaton. Yeah, Michael Keaton played just a brilliant role in this movie. If you haven't seen it, I would strongly suggest that you see it. It's a great movie. Again, about the history of Ray Kroc and McDonald's. And I thought it was a great movie anyway. But there's there was an interesting scene in that movie, or not necessarily scene, but a section in that particular movie where Ray Kroc goes out and sells franchises to a bunch of his country club buddies. All these rich guys from the golf corps or the country club that he was a member of, and he would go out and he would sell these franchises, these McDonald's franchises, to the doctors and dentists and engineers that were 55 and 60 years old and wealthy in their own lives, and would sell these as an investment opportunity, and they would open up these restaurants. But the problem was they weren't working the restaurants. They would just be looking at these restaurants as a passive investment. And then Ray Kroc would go around to these restaurants and they were failing because they weren't being worked. It was a passive investment. And then Ray Kroc made a decision that he was not going to sell to that type of a person anymore. He was going to sell franchises to that 35-year-old young family person that was hungry. Right? And they wanted to have a successful business. They wanted to have a successful franchise. So it was a really sort of a mind shift. And one of the things that we've thought about is, we need to work with advisors in this particular case that are motivated. This is a long-term play. It's about motivation. And, you got to tell the truth. Are you hungry? And we've worked with some advisors, and we look back at our history and these sort of association plans where we've all put a lot of effort into them and not got the results. And we've had other association plans where we've had, put a lot of effort into it and then got the results. And we're sort of analyzing what worked and what didn't. And the truth is how hungry the advisor is. The advisor needs to be hungry. And there's a lot of advisors out there that are hungry, and there's a lot of advisors out there that aren't. So it's really interesting because that's a key component. And if you're sitting there listening to this webinar and you've got this great prospect for an association, and this is something you want to move forward with, this is awesome. But if you're not hungry, it's not going to work. So I say, if you're not hungry, partner with somebody that is. Find a young advisor that doesn't have enough people to call, right? You find someone in your organization that is hungry, and this makes nothing but sense. So, because the fact of the matter is, you got to ask and ask and ask. An association plan, however we define an association plan, is just really a warm introduction, number one. And number two, there's going to be some unique contract provisions that will pique their interest and get their attention. So it's a warm introduction, but you've got to ask. You've got to ask for the sale. It's as simple as that. So really what I'm saying, it's a long-term play. Associations aren't just going to happen overnight. It's a long-term play, but boy, do they work. And this is, again, the growth opportunity going into 2020 without a doubt. And you got to work, and you got to work the plan, and you got to work the entire process, and you have to become the expert. It's as simple as that. You've got to become the expert for the Mississauga Home Builders Association benefit plan. It's as simple as that. And you do that by meeting with the people and talking to the people and illustrating all of the wonderful things that the plan, whatever the plan is, has and the exciting features as part of it. So what makes a great association plan prospect? Okay, we've talked about, plan design. We've talked about all sorts of different things, but what makes a great prospect? Well, the first thing is profitable businesses. Simple as that. You can have an association of unprofitable businesses and not a great opportunity. You can have an association of profitable businesses, and that's an opportunity. The businesses have to be profitable. In other words, the companies that make up this association have to be making money. So, for example, the Dog Walkers Association of Ontario, people that go into people's condos and walk their dogs, is that really a profitable business? Or is that just people that love dogs that want a daytime job, right? Are they really making a lot of money? And do they have a benefit issue? And hey, no offensive against dog walkers. They provide a valuable service but is it really something where they're just sort of got a job and they love their dogs? Or is it, are they actually profitable? Yes, probably 1 in 10 dog walkers is extraordinarily profitable, but let's face it, it's just kind of people that have fun jobs. And I don't even know if there's a Dog Walkers Association of Ontario. I'm just making that up. But for example, the end of that spectrum is the Mechanical Contractors Association of Ontario. We live here in Ontario. The last couple of days, it's been super cold. If your furnace breaks down and you live in Newmarket, for example, you're calling an HVAC company, and you're calling a local HVAC company and they're coming to your house within 12 hours to service your furnace, but you're not calling somebody in Kingston, Ontario to come and service your furnace in Newmarket. You're calling someone local, and that's a profitable business, and they're going to charge you a ton of money. It's funny, our furnace guy in Newmarket, the one that we've used for years, a company called Just Gas, a great guy that owned it, a gentleman by the name of Bob Nicey, and he's done so well at this. He sold his business, and he now lives in Naples, Florida. Yep. And he follow him on Facebook, and he's a buddy of mine, and he texts me every once in a while, and he sends me pictures of his time in Naples while we're up here freezing. So he's done something right. So it's profitable businesses. Dog walkers are profitable. They have jobs that they enjoy. HVAC companies are profitable, using those two extremes as an example, right? But it's got to be a selection of profitable companies. And why? Well, it's more than just profitable because they can write checks. It's more than that. It's important. First of all, it's way easier for profitable companies to write checks than unprofitable companies. Unprofitable companies don't write checks. Profitable companies do. But I think it's more than that. It's profitable businesses want their businesses to continue to be profitable. It's as simple as that. Benefits are often part of that equation. Profitable businesses, the first thing that happens when you become profitable, you get a smile on your face. And then that smile goes away because you're working in your business to keep it profitable. As simple as that. As soon as you become profitable, you want to keep it profitable. And employees are a key component of keeping that business profitable often. And benefits are part of that equation. We got something going on here. Hold on a second.
What is that? That's your phone.
It's my phone. Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that my phone was attached to.
I thought we'd stop that.
I thought we'd stop that too. Okay. Pardon me. Let's go back. I had my phone on silent, but I didn't turn it off. My apologies, folks.
And what happened to...
Is that it down there? There we go. Hey, that was pretty cool. Okay, now we went back. Hey, this is fun.
I think it pops right back. Yeah,
there we go. So profitable businesses want to remain profitable, and benefits are often part of that equation. Profitable business want to remain profitable, and benefits are often part of that equation. Simple as that. The other thing is profitable businesses buy value. They don't necessarily buy the cheapest. They buy value. And they want to continue. I'm just turning off my phone. There we go. It's off. Well, that won't happen again. Profitable business owners, regardless of what industry they're in, they buy value. And they don't always just go with the cheapest solution. They always want to buy value and continue to buy value and continue to provide value. So when we're looking at the conventional type of plan, one of the reasons why I said that they didn't work, the conventional plans didn't work, is because they weren't seeing that value proposition. They weren't seeing it because they go, yeah, we don't really know if we're getting value here or not. And it's sort of a vanilla off-the-shelf kind of approach. Yeah, so we don't know if we're getting value. So it becomes an expense that the profitable business owner is paying for. But again, they're not getting that value, and it's just something that they're always looking to get value for. So the reason why I want to deal with profitable companies is, number one, they want to remain profitable. Number two, they're not always looking for the cheapest solution. They're looking for the best value. Simple as that. The other component that makes up a great prospect is hundreds of members in the association, not thousands of members or tens of thousands of members or hundreds of thousands of members. It's hundreds of members in the association. In other words, you got to have enough of them to make it a great opportunity. But you can't have too many of them because they're already probably pretty well organized. Like, for example, the Mechanical Contractors Association of Canada, there's quite a few thousand members. They're located right across the country. They've got a national board. They've got local chapters. It's already pretty well established, and there's already somebody in there doing something. And the other thing is the decision process, is going to take years before you get in front of your first prospect. So when you're dealing with smaller associations, generally speaking, you can get in front of the people that make the decisions relatively quickly. They can see the value, and as I like to say, you can get to yes or no really quickly, and you can also make a big difference really quickly. So as I like to say, you want to work with those associations that are kind of off the radar, and whether you're creating these associations or the association actually exists, it's that hundreds of members in the association. So looking at that Mechanical Contractors Association of Canada versus the folks down at the St. Lawrence market, there's a significant difference there, where you've got a couple hundred employers in the St. Lawrence market and their related companies. um, you can make a difference that much quicker, and you can be more nimble versus, again, the mechanical contractors of the U of T Alumni Association, where there's tens or hundreds of thousands of members. So it's really sort of those smaller numbers, as well as that small numbers of employees within those hundreds of employers. So again, you don't want to be dealing with the Automotive Assembly Plant Association of Canada. So you're dealing with all, Ford and GM and Honda and what have you that have assembly, and Toyota that have assembly plants, in Canada that employ 20,000 people in each plant. No, you don't want to do. They might make up great associations for other products, but certainly not this product. So those associations with smaller employers, or smaller employers, but that have sort of that a few to a couple of employees, and you'll understand why this makes sense as well in a few moments as well. But it's that small number of employees, and the reason is, there's no significant attention given to a smaller employer individually. Again, you got a 10 Life Roofing Company case. Oh, well, right. It's, if they have benefits at all, it's going to be an off the rack solution, as I like to say. It's going to be, they know they're small. It's going to be a vanilla ice cream cone. It's not going to be that exciting. They might have a little option there with the waffle cone, but that's really about it. It's just sort of, no one really cares about, well, lots of people do, but no one really cares about that individual 10 life case in an undesirable industry. It's when you link them all together where it makes sense. So the other component, so we've got, maybe a couple hundred employers in a particular area. You've got sort of that smaller employer size that makes up 80% of the association, sort of that 3 to 20 employees. And then you've got well-paid employees. Well-paid employees that make up that mix. So, for example, licensed employees, that are a licensing component associated with it. There might be a trade associated with it, where you've got 5,000 hours to complete your papers if you want to become an electrician, or 6,000 hours or whatever it is, or a plumber, or whatever the circumstances is, or a Red Seal chef, whatever the circumstances are. You've got employees that are well paid, again, versus the dog walkers. And I'm not beating on dog walkers by any stretch of the imagination, but not a lot of barriers to entry to become a dog walker other than a good pair of shoes and you can hold on to a leash. Whereas, if you're going to hire a plumber, you want to make sure that they know what they're doing, right? It's as simple as that. So you got a couple hundred employers in a particular field. You got smaller employers within that. And then you've got well-paid employees within that organization as well. So they're in high demand. There's, back to the Mechanical Contractors Association of Canada, it's interesting. One of the things that I know about those folks, and you hire an HVAC company in Newmarket, there might be 10 people that work for that HVAC company, and 8 of them are licensed. They're licensed people that have their gas fitters license that are coming and working on your pool heater or your furnace. And you want them to be licensed if they're going to be working on your furnace, quite frankly, so your house doesn't blow up. But they're in high demand because there might be 2 or 3 HVAC companies in Newmarket, and one of the guys lives in Bradford, and he might be wanting to move to Bradford, or to be not having to commute from Newmarket to Bradford so we can work locally. So these guys are in high demand, and there's a retention issue. There's often a retention issue with these folks. And I know some organizations that hire nurses, for example, but you know what? They're always competing with the hospital nurses. There's an attraction issue. Do they want to deal with a small company versus, maybe a particularly larger company, or training issues? So these people are in high demand. And again, it's this sort of 10 life standalone company where you got these people in high demand. And what are you going to do? You're going to pay them well, but how are you going to offer them great benefits as well? And that's really what we're here to talk about. And as I like to say, great, they can operate in Ontario, they can operate in Canada, but not Quebec. And I know Quebec's part of Canada, and no one jump up and down here yet, but it's really a different benefit landscape in a lot of ways. So we work again with associations that are primarily Ontario-based associations. The other one is, this is what I love, undesirable industries, undesirable established industries. So you can work with organizations that you want to group together as an association, especially in an undesirable industry. It can create a huge opportunity for you because that standalone roofing company might have difficulty buying benefits. Insurers, as I've got here, insurers aren't interested in a company that has 6 vineyard employees, but they're certainly interested in 600 vineyard employees. Simple as that. And I say vineyard because we've got an office down in the Niagara area in Font Hill, and there's a lot of small farms there that are extraordinarily profitable, and they're producing grapes and selling grapes, and they're selling those grapes to the large producers. And they might have 6 to 10 employees in each particular company, each particular farm, and they work really hard for about 9 months of the year, and 3 months of the year they're still working, but not that hard. So they want to keep those people and keep them motivated because it's really an art an art and a science, as opposed to just being a farmhand, if you would. So when we're looking at it through a different set of lenses, all of a sudden we're getting insurance companies that are pretty excited about it. Now, it's not only certain risks that insurers don't like, and sometimes they don't mind the risk per se, but they don't like the administration load. So why these plans are becoming less and less exciting for insurance companies is it's not only the risk, it's the administration load. They're not good at, they being insurance companies aren't good at these types of risks where you got lots of in and outs and you got 600 different companies or 300 different companies or all these different bills and so on. It's the administration load. And that's where we come in. Underwriters will not write undesirable businesses with just a few employees, but a potential of hundreds of employees and no administrative complications because we've taken that off the table. Again, they're really excited. As I said, as it says here in the picture, you had my curiosity, but now you've got my attention. And it's interesting, we're dealing with a number of different insurance companies, and they get really excited about this stuff. When we bring them in as a partner in a particular association, they get really excited because, yeah, it might not be the most desirable business on a standalone basis, but all of a sudden you're looking at a potential of 600 or 1,000 person group or a 2,000 person group and no administrative complications. Yeah, they're pretty excited about that opportunity. So what is our approach? We've talked about a prospect. What is our approach? Our approach is quite simple. We get buy-in from all parties. We get buy-in from all parties. We get buy-in from the all parties. And if the board of directors goes, yeah, we're not really that interested. Okay, well, great. Stop. Full stop. Any hesitation, full stop. If we can't get an appropriate insurance solution because they're really not interested in cement truck driving armed guards that carry toxic waste as an association, yeah, it's full stop. The parties that are important, everybody's got to be on board. As simple as that. And whether it's the association or the board of directors or the anchors, if you would, for the group, the advisor again has to be hungry, and we're going to test this. They got to be hungry, or their associates have to be hungry. Insurance companies have to be in. The TPA's got to be involved themselves, right? Because there's going to be a lot of time, or not a lot of time, but there's going to be some time being spent building it before, if you build it, they will come. Remember that movie, Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. So it's, you got to get all this buy-in first. So when we build it, people will come. As simple as that. There's got to be some unique plan design opportunity, I think. There's got to be that hook. And again, that $250,000 of AD&D for roofers and specialty LTD for pilots, for example. Hey, we're going to set up a benefit plan for pharmacists that do not include doesn't include a traditional drug plan as part of the offering. It can just include stop loss or out of country or large amount pooling. We got to name the plan. It's not the Benefits Trust Association plan. No, it's the Mississauga Home Builders Association benefit plan or something unique. And there's got to be a specific, we would create a specific tagline for the group. All of these things are important, and it's about the group. It's not about yourself as the producer or ourselves as the administrator. It's really about the group, so they get excited about it. You want to create that opportunity where they're going, hold on a second, I'm looking at all these benefit plans that are available off the shelf, and we want this unique opportunity. It's as simple as that. Plan marketing is critical. plan marketing is absolutely critical. So it's interesting because historically it's, yeah, we'll put it up on the website and, knock your socks off. Well, we want to take it a step further. And this is what we've done with some other particular organizations that we work with. You create a dedicated website. And again, it doesn't look like a benefits website. It looks like their industry's website. It's building a dedicated website. We've got the printed materials that are consistent with the website and the look. Email templates that are consistent with the printed materials and the dedicated website. Letter templates that are consistent, again, with those email templates and those printed materials in the website. You see where I'm going with this? So you've got this consistent look. So they're going, I gotta, as a Mississauga home builder, I gotta understand what this benefit plan is all about. Because am I missing something here? Like, hold on a second, I gotta really check this out. And then you've got, database management systems. We've got the database management systems in place. So it's about data mining. It's about talking to the 600 members or the 500 members. But it's like saying, this is where the buy-in comes in. If it's a formal association, it's saying, hey, we need to get every member's, contact information. If they won't give it to you, then you don't have a prospect. But it's about database management, and it's about contacting these people on a regular basis with printed materials and emails and so on. And it's about making it easy because, again, these are smaller groups, so fillable online application process. So especially if you're the producer, the broker, the last thing you want to do is drive all the way to North Bay for a 4-person group. But you can have a telephone conversation with them and you can deal with them on the phone, and that person is in front of their computer and you're in front of your computer, and you can walk through the website and the fillable online application process, and you can help them build their plan that way. That's what it is that we are doing in with respect to association websites, where all the stars and the moon and the sun line up, because all of a sudden you can have people that are writing a number of these cases a year and not having to leave their office for long distance travel. It's as simple as that. So it's creating that opportunity, and it's creating that opportunity over and over and over again on an ongoing basis for years to come. But one of the key things is being accountable. It's creating that sales system and that marketing system. So it's follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. So for example, if you've got all the roofers in Ontario as a client, well, there's roofers in, every part of the province. You're not going to go all the way up to Timmins to meet with the roofing company necessarily, unless you want to, unless you're going up in the spring and want to go fishing, or the fall and want to go fishing. But you know what? It's the ability to follow up. So all of a sudden you're sending out regular communication to them, in a consistent looking communication where they go, hey, this is something important. People don't wake up today and go, hey, I think I'll buy benefits. Usually there's a trigger somehow, and they go, wow, I just got a renewal in and that's not making any sense. Well, what's that plan again? What's my association plan? And then they're going to follow up with you, and you're following up with them. And it's amazing at how it works, and how it works over time and over time. There's always early adopters, but you're building up this momentum, and this momentum does take time, and you're going to pique people's interests at different times. It's as simple as that, but it's creating that follow-up system. So we're going to give you the tools to create that regular communication, that regular email communication. We're going to give you the content for newsletters. We're going to give you the ability to have that database management process in place, so you can, with a couple of keystrokes, know who you've talked to, when you've talked to them, and so on. We're going to give you something of interest articles. Like, so for example, in the Roofers Association, hey, a roofer fell off and the roof and was killed, and then all of a sudden you're sharing that information. I'm sure you've heard roofers about this recent accident. That's why having $250,000 of accidental death and dismemberment insurance, for example, is really important. Again, something of interest types articles, a little bit, but these are things that are very timely. It's participating in conferences and sponsorships, and we've got booths that are available and easily transportable. To be able to participate in a professional type of format and a professional type of manner. So it's about working with partners in these type of things to create these opportunities for the future. And it creates really that top of mind awareness with your particular prospects and clients. So in summary, in this particular section, the association prospects are profitable. They've got fewer employees, 3 to 25 employees. I'm using that as a range. Yes, we know in every association, you're going to have some associations that have, I can speak good English, that have a couple with 1 employees or half of an employee, and they've got a couple with 500 employees. But it's really, you take out the top 10% and the bottom 10%, and that remaining 80% is sort of in that range. They're well-paid employees. There's hundreds of members, not thousands. Geographic considerations can work to your advantage, whether they're geographically close or they're geographically far. It can work to your advantage. So what are you saying there? Hold on a second. If they're geographically far, so for example, we're working with one association and they've got quite a few hundred members, but they're spread out all over the province. And one of the things that was really interesting in working with the board of directors on this is they're saying, how are you going to be able to service this company up in North Bay? And they kept on using an example in North Bay. And the answer is, we don't need to go up and see them. We can service them over the phone because of all of the stuff that we've built or will have built online to make it easy for them. So they're getting the advantage of this association plan, and we're making it easy for them, and we can deal with them electronically. And that was an awesome response that the board of directors loved. And the other association member prospect that really makes it easy is undesirable industries work well, and they work extraordinarily well because you've got this ability to provide some services that they can't buy on their own. It's as simple as that. So what are the next steps? I'm getting low on time here. What are the next steps? Well, the next steps are identify a prospect. The next steps are do some research, find out what's unique about the organization, and it's meet with the right people, the board of directors. And this happened last week. This particular broker was attended this session at the end of last year, and he did some research and he found this organization and he met with them, and they were really excited about the meeting, and we're going back to see them very shortly with some ideas. But they were just ecstatic about what we talked about. The answer is, if you get the yes and you get the green lights, then it's build it out. It's build out all of the templates that go along with it. Build out the website and build out the templates so you can have that launch. You can hit that launch button and that launch code, and you can see it take off. But it's fascinating when you see this happen, because the association gets excited about it and all the members get excited about it, and it's a great opportunity. So are we at the finish line? No, I don't think so. I think we're actually at the starting line. Association plans can work, and they can be wildly profitable. Pardon me. They can be wildly profitable. It's as simple as that. It takes a little bit of time and it takes a little bit of effort, but the results that you can garner from this are extraordinary. They're absolutely extraordinary. So why this works as well, one of the things that's really critical here, why this works and is amazing. And this is where the light really came off when I was analyzing this type of thing and how we've worked with other groups like this in the past. But why it works so well is the underwriting, it's the unique plan design, it's the professional administration, it's the dedicated marketing, it's the follow-up approach. But why it works really well as well, in addition to that, the most important thing is the plan sponsor or the association member can fire their existing advisor and remain friends. This is the most critical thing. The plan sponsor, the employer, they can fire their existing advisor and remain friends. In 30 years of being in the benefits business, no one likes to fire their advisor. Oh, you know what? I've been dealing with the same guy for 10 years and he's a really good guy, or she's a really great lady, and we get along super well, and it's like the job they do is okay. It's not bad. It's not great, but they can fire, in this particular case, you can fire them and they can remain friends. We're joining the association plan, Mr. Friend Broker. There are features that can't be duplicated with a conventional solution. Let me show you. The last thing that you want to do is you want to fire one of your buddies, who you might play hockey with or golf with or fish with or ski with or whatever it is that you do. You don't want to fire them because you found a cheaper price. You want to fire them because you can buy something that they can't sell you. And that's what we're talking about here. Canadians hate the fire rather than their friends. But if you can show your friend that you are buying something that they cannot provide to you, they're going to say, hey, great deal. Yeah, good deal, eh? So the individual advisor is not really going to worry about losing their 12 life hair salon case, especially if the solution can't be duplicated. They're not going to be worried about losing that 10 life roofing company case because they can't get $250 or $250,000 of standalone AD&D combined with, telehealth, right? So it's what, they just can't do it, and they don't care that much, but they just need an excuse, or the plan sponsor needs the excuse that they can still remain pals. They can still remain friends. Yeah, we're still going to be buddies. We're still going to sit beside each other in the, on the bench on the hockey rink, and we're still going to remain buddies because I'm buying something and you can't sell me, and it makes sense, right? So that's a big opportunity as well. And that's what I think is one of the most overlooked opportunities, and why this thing really works and works well if it's set up properly. So this works. Here's a couple of examples. We're just coming into our 5th year with this one particular association. 5 years, just starting the 5th year. There's $200,000 in recurring revenue. This was built up over 4 years. $200,000 in recurring revenue for this particular broker in 4 years. Not bad. Association number 3, we've been working with this particular broker for a couple of years, but he's got $100,000 in recurring revenue. Forgot the dollar sign there. $100,000 plus in recurring revenue. There's huge potential, but the advisor's not that motivated right now. He's kind of lost his way, and it's really bothering me because I just see the huge potential there, and I'm working with the advisor to try to get him more motivated, or to get somebody underneath him to help him out. The other one is we've got a new prospect that's less than a year old. There's already $40,000 in annualized revenue, and there's endless prospects. This particular individual is looking to hire somebody to help him with this because it's just endless prospects. But in less than a year, in addition to all the other business that he's writing, he's got $40,000 in recurring revenue. It's as simple as that. This plan works, and works extraordinarily well. So if you have a prospect in this particular area, or if you've done some research, or you can think of a prospect, or you'd like to talk about prospecting in this area, or you've got a prospect, call me personally. I'd love to talk to you about this. This is going to take some time, but you know what? It's worth it. This is the growth opportunity for benefits in 2020. If you've got a prospect, call me. Let's have a discussion. Let's set up a time that we can spend 45 minutes or an hour on the phone and bang our heads together and come up with some ideas. Give me a call. There's my number. There's my email address. Call us here at the Benefits Trust. So we want to take this opportunity. We spent an hour together. We want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for your time. We encourage you to visit thebenefitstrust.com. Thebenefitstrust.com. There's a lot of valuable information on there. You can get a tone of what it is that we're doing. But all I can say is we've done this a couple of times. We want to do it a bunch more times, and it works, and works extraordinarily well for the right type of solution. It's as simple as that. It can work, and work extraordinarily well. You can have endless prospects for the remainder of your career. That's what we're talking about here. Visit thebenefitstrust.com. You can see our other webinars that are going to be up. We're doing, I think, some more next week and the week after that. We're also going to send you a CE credit very shortly. You've got my word on that. We're going to send you a CE credit for participating today. You're going to be signed up for our Trusted Advisor newsletter, which comes out once a month. If you have not received that, you will be. If we are doing business together, we thank you for your continued business. If we are not doing business together, we want to say we would love to do business with you. And please visit us, call us, write to us, email us, drop by the office, say hello. We'd love to talk to you about this. And again, one thing that was exciting is we had this meeting last week with this one particular broker, and he came out of the meeting and he was about 6 feet high off the ground because he was so excited about this opportunity, as was the association. So this works. So thanks for your time. But I've done enough talking. It's time for you to go out and sell. So it's time for you to sell. So thanks for your time. We'll be in touch with you shortly. Have a great day. Bye for now.